Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Island Tea right here on Win Media SKN. It's Friday,
Indeed it is.
August 12th, guys. August 12th. We're almost at the midway point. And yeah, you're here with me, Azem, your fave. And of course, sitting right to my left is a lovely Jade Gwenadita CPL Martha Stewart Johnson. Looking lovely in her red lipstick.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a big hit yesterday.
I realized I put that on again.
See what when I boost up the ladies, them? Anyway, keep doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Keep boosting up the ladies, guys. And ladies too. And ladies too.
Yes, indeed. How are you, friend?
How am I?
I don't know. That's why I asked.
I'm gonna go with good.
Good is good. Good is
Yeah,
a good answer.
yeah. I don't mind good. And continually working to be better.
You know, I like that.
How about you? How things in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah.
I got you. You got any rest last night? No.
Yes,
Okay.
I did actually.
What?
I went to bed at a
Reasonable.
time.
I love that for you, friend. I love that for you. Well, today is gonna be a special one. I mean, every day is special, but I'm looking forward to today. We have some very special guests.
Yes.
It's Friday, so we're doing the regional link up with Observer Radio right there in Antigua.
And we have special guest, the Honorable Premier of Nevis, Mr. Mac Drip Brantley.
Indeed.
So
Boom bang. Yeah.
it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, lots to look forward to.
Lipstick into ready into braids.
Yeah, a little. Like, I mean, Jade, for personally, it might be a bit out there for me, but I also recognize that my particular taste, one, doesn't matter, and two,
Good point, Carla.
first and foremost, and secondly, yeah, it don't matter. No man, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Feel a little bright. Feel a little scene.
No, watch, guys. Boost up Jade for me quick in the comment section. We'd appreciate it. There we go. There we go. Yes, we are ready.
Yes, no, she said bright.
Yes.
Bright could mean lots of things, okay?
Look, it's how you interpret things, Jade. You think we're just about ready to link up?
Well, I'm waiting on that little link up message.
But yeah, guys, we're about to jump into the link up any minute now. On my way here, it really is summer. Traffic was a breeze. There you go. There you go.
That's all I needed to see.
But yeah, traffic was a breeze, and I'm kind of wondering if the the schools can just
Keep closed? No, friend. That's not how we
no,
do it.
they just do the home thing like they were doing.
No, friend.
No.
Parents have to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always come up with these great plans, and then
Doesn't work like that.
there's just always this one little detail that I keep missing out on. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important detail like that. Yeah.
Yeah, at least we'll hear them in there. Let's take it off.
Ready. All right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully we'll get to perfect this. I don't know. Every time I think we're getting better, it doesn't seem that way. But there appears to be a delay in the signal, or there's some issue. And
Good morning, Darren.
Good morning. What, y'all don't see me signaling to y'all? I'm ready.
We usually get the message.
Yeah, what does it? Why you waving at us, Darren? You send us a message.
I was told the message was sent.
To whomst?
Oh.
I don't know. Anyway, it don't matter. It doesn't
It
matter.
was. Sorry, my bad. I didn't say
Huh?
that.
Oh, yeah, Jay dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, okay. Oh, so y'all have each other's number now? Y'all keeping things from me?
What?
The technical director, I would assume.
The technical director has your number now.
So, okay then, so who the message would have came?
Technical director.
Exactly. So,
But
if it
y'all
did have my
keeping
number,
things
how
from
would I get it?
Yeah, well, I am now discovering this for the first time.
What?
People have been holding out on me. Anyway. Boy, Azem, you love that, huh?
Watch it. I just hear reciting scripture verses.
Anyway, good morning from St. John's, Antigua, News Co Observer Radio at 91.1 FM. our friends here in Antigua, and I believe also in St. Kitts, look forward to these exchanges on Fridays. I get lots of feedback from all quarters, so we get cuss out sometimes, but you know that's all part of the course.
Welcome to our world.
Anything less would be uncivilized.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And Azem, you have some fans here. Well, Jade has fans. Period.
Jade
Full
have,
stop.
precisely.
That's no secret. She has her fans, including fans that reside within the walls of this establishment. That's as much as I will say.
Oh.
But Azem, yes, Azem, you have some fans. Folks think you have a fine mind. You're very analytical.
He does.
And very, yeah. So you're gaining traction, sir. So,
I appreciate it. I'll endeavor to continue to impress.
Indeed. Gotta keep the fans pleased. So I see that we have the premier of Nevis on the Zoom.
Yes, he is.
And my little research tells me that he, unless my information is incorrect, he hails from, at least his place of birth is Gingerland, Nevis. And Gingerland, Nevis is where my grandfather hails from. When I went to Nevis, took my family there a couple of years ago, I made it a point to go to Gingerland. So it does have some resonance with me and my family. Mark Brantley, good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning to the good people at WINNFM as well. I'm, as always, happy to be here and happy to be a part of this link-up with Antigua, Barbuda, and St. Kitts and Nevis.
All right. Well, it's certainly an honor. Certainly seen you on the campaign trail. I think one or two of your posts on social media have been shared with me, and listeners, let's just say you come across as a very strong personality. Let's put it that way, and I don't mean that in a negative way.
Well, I think I can only be myself. I've tried. I think that in the context of our politics, people want leadership. They want leadership that they can look to, people who are willing to stand up for them. And I think that is what I try to do. And I believe that the people of Nevis have responded positively to that type of messaging. And that is who I am. So long as I'm here, I don't know for how much longer, but so long as I'm here, I think that is what I'll try to bring to the table.
All right, great. Who gets to ask the first question or the second question?
Well, since you're our guest, you may go ahead.
Oh, you're so kind. Are you pleased? Well, outside of the fact that obviously you won at the polls and your party won all 3 seats on this on Nevis, are you pleased with the outcome in St. Kitts to the extent that you believe you will have a partner that you can work with in the interest of the Twin Island Federation?
I'm always pleased with the outcome of free and fair elections because once the people have voted, their decision is what we have to live with. And I always say that their decision, their voice is the voice of God. And so I have no difficulty whatsoever with the decision. In a democracy, we go, it is a contest of ideas and people decide. And the people have decided. It is quite obvious from the results that the people on St. Kitts have overwhelmingly decided that the Labour Party is their party of choice. And the people on Nevis have equally overwhelmingly said that the Concerned Citizens Movement is their party of choice. It therefore means that the 2 islands have spoken, and they've spoken, I believe, quite emphatically. And those of us who have been privileged to be elected and who have won their confidence now have a duty, an obligation to work together in their best interest. So I look forward very much to working with Dr. Terence Drew and his team. He's a new prime minister. He's a young person, no parliamentary experience, has not been in the parliament before, has not been in government before. And so in many respects, he comes with a clean slate. And as I like to say, he has no baggage. And so it is up to him now to define himself as prime minister, to basically say to us in the next days and weeks and months what he's made of. I no doubt, because I have been there when I became Premier of Nevis as a younger person then, I have no doubt that he is being pulled in a million directions right now. So it is my hope that he has the necessary balance, he has the necessary grounding, that he will depart from some of what we've seen his predecessors do, and that he will truly be a figure to unite St. Kitts and Nevis once and for all. I am prepared and my party is prepared to give him the benefit of that doubt, to give him the benefit of time to show us what he's made of, and we are prepared to work with him. I think that is what the people of Nevis have said, that my party is their preferred choice to represent them. And certainly the people, brothers and sisters in St. Kitts, have spoken just as eloquently that the Labour Party is their choice. So that being said, I believe that we now have that obligation to make this work for the benefit of those who have entrusted us with their confidence. And that is what we propose to do, certainly on our side of the narrows.
Okay. All right. Jade, Azem?
Well, Honorable Premier, first and foremost, let me, offer congratulations to you and your
Thank you.
your colleagues on your success at the polls last week. I think that I remember the last time we spoke on air, you kind of joked about the fact that hey, they said there's somebody supposed to run, but we're not too sure about what's happening there, and I think you guys took that confidence. I think you were speaking in confidence, and you took that confidence into the election, and you were proven correct in your assessment that the people really wanted the CCM led the government, and so here we are. Of course, one of the big talking points during the campaigns was the issue of fair share, and it would be remiss of me not to first ask what is the state of that conversation. We have heard that you've already had some conversation with the new Prime Minister, and from his indication, it seems that he is positive in terms of what it is that you guys can achieve together. What is your feeling, and as it relates specifically to the fair share, let's say, discussions?
So let me put it in perspective. I would have sent a congratulatory message via WhatsApp to the new Prime Minister, Dr. Drew, and he would have responded, I believe it was on Sunday last, with a telephone call. And so he and I spoke, and he did indicate that he wanted to meet at the earliest possible opportunity. I understand, again, he's settling in. We have not yet had that opportunity to meet. But on the first working day, which was Tuesday after the holiday, I would have written to him and set out for him in writing some of the issues which we thought were critical to Nevis and which we thought could be addressed with priority. I have not yet had a response to that, but I do know that he has received that letter. But I recognize, again, they have to think about his swearing in and portfolios. He has a lot on his plate at this point. So I'm willing to wait and let him settle in, and then we get down to business. In relation to fair share, as you know, that is a critical part. In fact, I think that was one of the principal reasons why Team Unity broke up, because the then Prime Minister, now happily in retirement, was not prepared to countenance abiding by what the people of Nevis had voted for, and frankly, what he himself had committed to. He and the Team Unity had persuaded our electorate that they represented a new paradigm, that there would be fairness and equity in the system between our two islands, and that simply did not happen. The people in Nevis, again, would have demonstrated how they feel about fair share, because they not only voted for CCM, they voted overwhelmingly for CCM. And when I saw that map of Nevis, which is all blue, I thought to myself, they are sending a very clear message to the Federation. This is who they want. These are the issues that matter to them. Now, with 1/3 of the population in Nevis, the question is, what will the Prime Minister sitting in Bastille decide to do? To my mind, it would seem logical to engage, and to engage constructively, and to see how we can solve these problems. Will he do that, or will he be like his predecessors and decide to go down a path of more of the same? If it's more of the same, then regrettably, I feel that the people of Nevis would not have achieved that which they're seeking to achieve, which is greater equity and greater participation insofar as federal politics and federal issues are concerned. I would like to reiterate that from our perspective, we're prepared to give Dr. Drew that benefit of the doubt. He's new. We're prepared to say to him that we are willing to work with him to achieve success for both islands and to ensure that all of our people are included in the thrust for greater and more sustainable national development.
All right. Premier Brantley, what was the value proposition of the CCM? Was it just fair share, or were there other issues in the campaign that resonated with voters, at least from your advantage, that you think made all the difference when compared with the NRP?
So the issue of fair share was critical because I think our people understand it. And if you understand our peculiar history, I think that is something that resonated with our people, because the people of Nevis have consistently said that they don't feel they get a fair shake insofar as the Federation is concerned. It is for that reason that our people and my party rallied with Team Unity in 2015. It was because Team Unity promised that we would change that reality. And when those promises clearly came to naught, we said we couldn't stay. And so we exited, and that perhaps assisted in precipitating the collapse of Team Unity. The other value proposition here, I think, is people wanted to get rid of Timothy Harris. He had become a cancer. He had become toxic. And the people of Nevis wanted none of him. They did not want to see him in Church Street anymore. And so a vote for us, I feel, for many was a vote to get rid of him. I have never seen any leader who had lost so much popularity so quickly as he did. And I believe at the end of the day, we were right, because the polls bore that out, that the people of St. Kitts also rejected him and his party overwhelmingly. So I think that was another value proposition, to borrow your terminology. On the other side, there was no clear messaging. The other side engaged in a campaign of simply talking about me and bashing me and saying all the things that were wrong with me. But that doesn't add any value to the people of Nevis. They refused, for example, to articulate a position in relation to the fair share. They seemed disinclined to engage with condemning some of the clearly dangerous rhetoric and nonsense that was emanating from Timothy Harris and his team. And we understood that because they were being financed by the PLP, and so perhaps didn't feel that they had the capacity to speak out. And so the people of Nevis, I think, wanted leadership that they could trust, leadership that they could feel comfortable with. And we offered that. We said clearly, we are standing proud as a Nevisian party, born in Nevis, made in Nevis, representing the people of Nevis. We have no paymaster anywhere. We are standing on our own 2 feet. And I think the people of Nevis responded positively to that. The other side couldn't say that, because whilst they adopted a public posture that they were not aligned with any political party in St. Kitts, we were well aware where the financing and funding was coming from. And so I think that was the fundamental difference. And we exhibited a type of independence that the people of Nevis are attracted to. And again, they voted overwhelmingly for us.
All right. I get. May I just follow up?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Jade,
sure.
go ahead. Go ahead, ladies.
No, go ahead. I'll ask after.
Okay. Two of your responses this morning suggest that there is little love lost between yourself and Dr. Timothy Harris, and I'm being charitable. Have you had a conversation with him post-election, or not so much?
I've not spoken to Timothy Harris since about April or May of this year. Oh. And, when I wanted to have a conversation with him about how we could save Team Unity, he was not interested in that conversation, because he was on some fairy, fantasy land, saying that he was a top dog and he is the reason why everybody won their seats. So, regrettably, he preferred to sink the ship if he could not remain the captain indefinitely. And so, here we are. He's gone. I'm here. And we will continue to do the very best that we can for the benefit of our federation. I think that in all of this, we have to commend our people in our country, because the institutions worked. What I mean by that is to say that we had an election which, by all accounts, was free and fair, an election which produced a result. The people have settled down now, the country has settled down. And I feel that the aberration, which was Timothy Harris, has now been corrected. And so I feel that the institutions did work ultimately. Our democratic process did work ultimately. And it is my fervent hope and belief that never again should we go back to that type of leadership. It was a mistake, and the country has corrected that mistake. So I have not spoken to Timothy Harris. And my own view is that when I wanted to speak to him to say, let us correct course, he was not interested in that conversation. I don't know what he will have to say now, but I wish him all the best.
Right, that answers my question. Jade?
Well, I have a quick follow up as well. Of course, I reside in St. Kitts. I vote. I vote in St. Kitts, and so I may not be fully versed in Nevis politics, and may miss some of the conversation. And of course, we tend to sensationalize, things that are said on the platforms. We pull what we want, take things out of context. But sometimes looking on from this side of the channel over at Nevis, it does sometimes feel as though the cheat code to win the elections in Nevis, whether federal or on a local level, is to bash who's ever sitting in the Prime Minister's office in St. Kitts. Do you think that there's any truth to that, or what may lend to some people feeling that is the case, especially for those of us residing here who may not be as versed in the Nevis politics?
I think that's a fair question, but our recent history would suggest that is not in fact the case. In 2015, certainly we had an issue with Dr. Denzel Douglas. He and the NRP were in coalition at the time. We thought the same issue really, that Nevis was being unfairly treated. And so we spoke up about that. It was that was part of the catalyst for Team Unity. If you recall, that is why we documented a framework for Team Unity that we call the Charleston Accord, and that Timothy Harris, Sean Richards, and the late Vance Amory would have signed. So that would have been the position in 2015, but by 2020, when Team Unity was basically contesting the election and asking the people to re-elect us, there was no bashing of any leadership on St. Kitts. At the time, we had issues, but we were seeking to resolve those issues. I felt confident that those issues could be resolved. Of course, we won in 2020, and those issues got worse because I think, unfortunately, by winning, Dr. Harris at the time felt that he had been emboldened. And so those issues became worse. So I would just look at our most recent history in answer to your question. So 2015, yes, we adopted a position, not only in Nevis, let me say, but also in St. Kitts that was anti-Labour NRP coalition at the time. In 2020, there was none of that. And then, of course, our most recent history is that Team Unity collapsed. And we needed to get rid of Timothy Harris. And I'm happy that we did.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, well, speaking of the coalition between Team Unity, so the election period, we've heard you and the leader of the People's Action Movement speak about being still in that Team Unity mindset. We see that they were not successful at the polls, and you were. So what is your standing with the People's Action Movement? What is the relationship going forward? How are you going to, if you guys are planning to build that relationship continuing, even though they weren't successful?
Well, what we said was that at the end of the day, we are elected by the people of Nevis. We have a responsibility to the people of Nevis. The People's Action Movement and the Concerned Citizens Movement coalesced because we were the remnants of Team Unity. We were what was left after, of course, Timothy Harris left the fold. And we still believe that the principles, the core principles of fairness, of equity, of the two islands being allowed to play their part in national development, and those core principles are still very valid. Term limits, that the Prime Minister be limited to 2 terms, fixed date for elections. All of these were core principles of Team Unity, which unfortunately were abandoned by the leadership that we chose, because I must take responsibility for it as well. So we had, if you will, that those core principles that still guided us. And the People's Action Movement was the only party in St. Kitts that was openly and publicly saying that they too felt that the people of Nevis should get a fair share. And so it was a natural affinity that developed. But I believe Sean Richards and I are practical people, and we've always said that, listen, at the end of the day, this is our messaging. This is what we have said that we will do, but it depends on the people. And the only way you can be at the table is if you have seats to be at the table. And once the election is held and the people have spoken, there is a governance that then emerges. People must then govern. And so For us, we have great affinity to the People's Action Movement. I have tremendous respect for Mr. Richards and his team, but we must now look forward and look to see how we can manage in terms of a new government in Bastille and how we can engage with them. And that new government is the Terence Drew-led Labour Party. They are the ones now in government. And so I have an obligation to engage with them on behalf of the people of Nevis. I go back to that map of St. Kitts, which is almost entirely red, and a map of Nevis, which is entirely blue. And that, I think, is what we must now seek to do.
All right. No, in Antigua, the opposition United Progressive Party and the Barbuda People's Movement, ideologically, strategically, there is alignment. All right, they're generally, parties that work closely together in the governance of the Twin Island state. To what extent would you say the CCM has a relationship with either of the party? Well, clearly not Timothy Harris and his concept of team unity. But is there a party on St. Kitts that you think your party is closer aligned to than the other? Based on your answer just now, it sounds like PAM, but I may be wrong.
Well, I don't think that there's a party that we're closer to. I think that there have been a number of circumstances since 2015. We put Team Unity together, which was 3 parties, PAM, PLP, and CCM. It was the first time in the history of CCM, which is a party that is over 35 years old, that we had ever aligned ourselves with any party on St. Kitts. Mm-hmm. But we did that in 2015 because we thought that the then government represented a clear and present danger to the country. And we coalesced in order to get rid of that government. And we had hoped to usher in a new paradigm, a new governance, freshness, if you will, to our country. And so because we have worked together with PAM and PLP, and then PLP, of course, went astray, it left really us with PAM. And so that is where that affinity, if you will, would have come in. But it is not as if to say that we've had some long-standing relationship with any political party in St. Kitts. This is really a matter of quite recent vintage.
Okay, understood. Of the criticisms that have been leveled in your direction, I mean, as leaders, one would think that, you look, as human beings generally, we look at ourselves, if we're true to ourselves and honest with ourselves, and say, look, what area do I need to work on? Where am I the weakest? Where is there room for improvement? Is that something is that a conversation that you have openly, or even conversation you have with yourself or your advisors? Hey, where do I need to improve? And if so, what those areas might be?
I'm so happy I'm on this interview. I'm just hearing for the first time that there are criticisms of me. I mean, I never knew that happened.
Well, so, you just said that the campaign was littered with,
let me say, of course, you're
being tongue. Yes, I understand.
I think we all throughout this journey called life have to continually reflect and readjust. It's not only in politics, but even in our day-to-day lives. We have our own characteristics, some of which are good, some are not so good. And so we continually have to improve. And I think, yes, that's part of the process. Introspection is good. Also, of course, the observations of those trusted advisors around you who say to you that perhaps you said something, this wasn't the right thing to say, or perhaps you adopted that approach, that wasn't the right approach. So the short answer is yes. I've listened to the criticisms. Some I put in the, ignore the noise bundle, because for me, some are just noise. Others, I think, are legitimate criticisms, which really, to stay in the position of leadership and to continue to represent the people, one has to listen to the people. And so that is also important.
Yeah, I was asking, for example, real quick. I know we don't like to talk about our negatives, but what would you say your weak areas are?
Oh, my weak areas. That's an interesting question. I think I need to reach out more. I think I need to be in the community more. I think I need to go sit on people's steps and in their living rooms a bit more. I do a lot of public appearances, but my constituents are telling me that that is not enough. That being here with you is fine. They hear me on the radio, they see me on television, they listen to my press conferences, but they also want me to come and sit with them on their porch and talk to them. And that's a particular and peculiar phenomenon of small island politics. And I think I need to do that more. So if there is one legitimate criticism, I think that's it that I need to address.
Okay, fair enough. Jade, Azem?
Well, earlier you mentioned that the people clearly rejected the PLP government, as the former prime minister, who had 2 seats, lost one and now stands at 1 seat. But the People's Action Movement had 4 seats and they lost 3, and they also stand at 1. So would you say that the same can be said for the People's Action Movement?
Yes, absolutely. I think there's no doubt that the results show that the people rejected PAM in this election. And the People's Action Movement clearly has some thinking to do. They have some, introspection. Let me go back to that word. They have some soul searching, and they have to rebuild. The one thing I think, though, is that the People's Action Movement has deep roots. They're a party that is over 50 years old, and I believe that they have been here before. Let us reflect that there was a time when PAM had no seats at all in St. Kitts, when the cry of all 8. Jade, you might have been too young for that, but nevertheless, there was a time when people talking about all 8.
Oh, I remember.
This, you remember, okay. Preschool, your preschool days. All right. So, people talking about all 8 and this kind of thing. So there has been that history, and PAM has rebounded and PAM has rebuilt. The better question, I think, is in relation to the PLP, because the PLP, in my view, had really no particular philosophy. It was all about what the government could do and the freeness that came out of Church Street. And so you take that away now, that the public purse is no longer available, that you can't put 1,200 people on peace and 1,400 on step and how much on PAP and fixed roof. And the question is, what is left? And I believe that is now the issue, that those parties that have a grounding, a history, strong roots in the community, I think those are the parties that will survive.
My final question, because I'm going to have to take my leave in a few moments, Jade and Azem, to Honorable Mark Brantley. Speaking about PAM and its future and rebuilding, I think Peter Wickham and Ava Grant, who were on my program earlier this week, said as much. My question to you is, do you believe that this rebuilding can be successfully executed with the current leadership? I'm referring to the Honorable Sean Richards specifically, of course.
But that would be a question for PAM, not for me. They will have to determine whether or not that can happen. And I have every confidence that they are a party much older than my own party, and that they have what it takes to do what is necessary to make themselves once more a party that is a contender in St. Kitts. Questions of leadership would clearly be for them. And I am pretty sure that they have the necessary quality of people around them, that they'll make the right decisions.
And you have elections next year? Is it next year Nevis has Nevis Island elections?
It might be next month. We never know.
Oh,
but they're due. They're due
Okay.
by March. They're due by March of next year. So we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see. All right. Are you expecting to receive any support from either main party on the mainland, so to speak?
We never have, and we have never asked for it. And we've always been proud that we stand alone. And so we stand strong as a Nevisian party. We do not ask for support from St. Kitts. We have never had in the history of this party, and we never will. So we expect going forward that we will stand as a Nevisian party and go to the Nevisian voters and say we are the best party to represent you. And we expect to win all the seats available in the local election. We have all but one at the moment. We expect to pick up that one as well. And we're hopeful that the people will continue to...
A little opposition is good for democracy, sir.
Well, they can oppose. They can come on your radio and oppose. They can, write opposing articles in the newspaper. They can do all of that. But at the end of the day, the people must vote for the representation that they feel comfortable with and the representation that they can trust.
All right. Yes, lady and gentlemen, I will have to take my leave now. It was really an honor meeting you, albeit virtually, Honorable Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis. Thank you so much for being a part and for taking my questions. Much appreciated, sir.
Sure, and thank you. I now have met a fellow Gingerlander, so that's good.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. We need to talk about that off here. I'll tell you who he was many moons ago.
I would be interested. That would
Yes.
be interesting.
All
Good.
right.
Well, thank you very much. Lady and gentlemen, does that mean you're done with me or you continue with me?
I
I have
mean,
no idea
Why
how
would
this
you
goes.
leave us just like that? I thought you
Oh,
were
well,
spending time
I
with
don't
us.
know.
I'm gonna have to leave the party. Parting with such is such sweet sorrow sometimes.
but Darren,
But it was great.
Darren,
Thank you
quickly,
so much.
Darren, quickly before you go, it would be remiss of me not to mention the fact that your fans here in St. Kitts have asked us to make sure that you know they exist, and there's a high level of admiration for you here in the federation as well.
Thank you. You caught me off guard with that one.
I'm
Thank you.
just like the fan, they would not have let me live it down.
All right. Thank you. Please extend my warm greetings to them as well. And I had some recent conversations about, ending the drought. I miss St. Kitts, to be honest, and Nevis. So got to do something about that. So we'll speak about that as well.
You're the water bringer. Okay, hurry up, come.
Yes, indeed. All right.
All right. Premier, thank you for hanging out with us a bit longer. Trust me, we appreciate it. I'm sure it is a lot on your plate, so we don't take it for granted that you're here hanging out with us for a few more minutes. But we actually, you actually just mentioned the upcoming election there in Nevis. What do you anticipate would be some of the main issues to be discussed during that campaign?
Well, I think in local elections, we always pivot to local issues. And local issues for us would really be us running on our record. I feel that on the island of Nevis, it cannot really be seriously said that we have not performed. In every aspect of development on the island of Nevis, infrastructure, agriculture, healthcare, education, jobs, the economy, that Nevis is on the rise. And I think that that's obvious. The way that we handled the COVID pandemic, for example, the fact that Nevis has one of the best records in the region in terms of our handling of that pandemic, the fact that we weathered that storm and it's still standing, the first global pandemic in 100 years. No premier in the history of the island of Nevis has ever had to deal with a global pandemic with borders closed, with our tourism industry shut down. And I feel that those are the issues that we will take to our people, of course, in addition to our plans and programs that we look forward to. So that is sort of where we are. And I anticipate that, we will, in the fullness of time, be able to make that case to the people of Nevis.
I mean, and I totally understand. Of course, you're the incumbent, and you would have done what you felt was best for the nation moving forward, and so you'd be able to run on that record. You mentioned earlier as well the fact that when it comes to criticism, some may say, especially your constituents, would say, hey, we may feel, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, we may feel you focus so much on the whole that sometimes we want you to look back here in a particular constituency. Of course, you have responsibility as the premier of the entire island, and of course, you, up until recently, were a member of cabinet as well. Do you believe that there is a possibility that doing those two full-time jobs may have stretched you a bit thin? Of course, we know you're a man with broad shoulders and could handle whatever. But do you believe it may have stretched you a bit thin, performing both roles simultaneously?
I don't think so. In all honesty, I think that what I need is, and the comment that I made about going and sitting on people's steps and their living rooms and having a chat with them, it's sort of that personal touch. I think that really comes down to time management and the willingness to make that a part of your daily engagement in the community. And so I don't think it has anything to do with having the jobs or doing the jobs. I think it has to do with making that commitment or renewing that commitment to ensure that we spend more time in the communities. Somebody reminded me recently that they did not elect a premier, they elected a representative. And I thought that was a very interesting reminder that all of us should remember, that we should not become so consumed with the work and doing the work that we forget how it is we got to where we are. And how it is we get to where we are is clearly about the people. So, some of us are of the view, well, I build a nice road, I put in a nice house in development, and people benefit from that, and therefore that's enough. Our people are saying to me, no, I also want you, once you've put me in the house and I'm enjoying my home, come and sit and talk to me and my family as well and find out how we're doing. Yeah. Find out how my daughter is doing at university. I want to be able to have that type of conversation with you. So that is certainly something I think that all of us need to do more of.
Okay, definitely.
Well, so for the results from the election just gone, we see that NRP seems to have bolstered a good enough, not winning voter. Sorry, the word slips me, but
The proper fight.
yeah, they put up a pretty good fight, considering that you claim that they were not as prepared or as much of a threat to you in the elections. Going into the local elections, is this still your thought process? Do you see that they may have more of a fan base that you thought? What are your thoughts on how they did and how you will do in the upcoming elections, whether it be next month or next year?
Can I start by saying I really love your blue nail polish? I think that's a really nice touch, for this interview. I won't make any comment on the red lipstick, but the blue nail polish I really like. The question, Jade, is a good question. I think that, however, what is happening in Nevis is that the NRP has been so consistent in losing elections that they now take great pride in saying I didn't lose too badly. And that is really the irony. It's like, somebody who's so accustomed to that type of behavior that they say, well, it wasn't as bad this time. The truth is that when you look inside the numbers, the election wasn't close. It wasn't even, it was a runaway. I won my seat by 411 votes. In a situation where there was clearly a shift away from the parties that formed Team Unity. PAM, as you would have said earlier, would have lost tremendous ground. PLP basically collapsed. And so the CCM, as a part of that, went out and said to the people of Nevis, give us the opportunity. And the people of Nevis responded positively. I won by 411 votes. I think my colleague in Gingerland, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, he too won in a landslide, I think perhaps by 400 or so. And Alexis Jeffers won by 59 votes. But let us remember that Alexis Jeffers is running in a seat, number 11, which was always an NRP seat. For 3 decades, that seat was held by the NRP. We won it for the very first time in history in June of 2020. And so to come back a year and a half, 2 years later, basically, and to win it again, to hold on to it, I think is very, very telling that the NRP, which threw everything they had, the kitchen sink and all, at us, that they have yet again been rejected by the people. And then, Jade, if we were to move now to the local election context, and we look inside the numbers, because remember, federally, we combine St. John's and St. Paul's, and we combine St. Thomas's and St. James. Locally, we separate those. So that is how 5 collapses to 3 and then expands out to 5 locally. In my seat, number 9, it is St. John's and St. Paul's. On the St. John's side, I won by 297. So it means if that were in a local election, that would have been safely in the CCM column. In the St. Paul's side, we won by 114. Therefore means, again, if that were a local election, safely in CCM column. In Gingerland, St. George, we won that comfortably, 400, that again, safely in the CCM column. St. James, we won by 189, again, safely in the CCM column. The only seat that we would have lost would have been St. Thomas's, which is the only seat we currently do not have. So if this were a local election, there would really have been no change whatsoever. We still would have been 4-1. In the context of this. So I hear the celebration from the NRP. I understand that we all need something to celebrate. I reminded at our victory rally that when I was a little boy, I used to go to a school called Chapel School. And I was very, very inept at anything to do with athletics. And my very first race in kindergarten, I remember running really fast. We were on a grass track at a place called Swamp. And I fell. And I wish I could tell you and your audience that I was in front when I fell, but I was already last when I fell. So I was in last place, I fell. And so I remember my mom of blessed memory saying to me, get up, get up, get up, come on, finish the race. And I finished the race dead last. And then she told me, you did really well. And I knew she was lying to me, but you know, it is what people say, you know, they want to console you. So she said, you did really well, don't worry yourself. And I think that's what the NRP is doing now. Somebody's patting them on the head and saying, not to worry, you did really well. But at the end of the day, it's still 3-0 and Nevis is still blue.
All right. I liked your story at the end.
It's a true story.
Well, so currently you don't have a clear date for the upcoming election?
You can't lay it out. Maybe you could give us the exclusive.
I mean, you know, we like those things here.
No, I don't have a clear date yet, but I think that we can expect an election in Nevis fairly soon.
Well, one thing that we've noticed is that it seems that it's always, okay, well, when Nevis does something, or when Nevis collects money, or when Nevis gains whatever, it's Nevis. But when St. Kitts does it, it has to be St. Kitts and Nevis. Is there a situation where we can say that sometime in the future it will be a situation where maybe funds are shared with Nevis, maybe from taxes or whatever other form of revenue earnings, we can clearly say that, okay, well, St. Kitts will get some fair share of that?
Well, we remember this debate about fair share really had to do not with revenue generally, because there's nobody in Nevis who's saying that, listen, if you go down to the coffee shop now and you pay VAT, that Nevis should get some of that. We're not interested in that. We're not interested in what money is generated in St. Kitts by Park Hyatt and by Marriott. We have zero interest in that, because we are saying whatever little money is generated by Four Seasons and Montpelier, we keep that. You keep whatever is generated at Park Hyatt and all of that. The one issue, and this is what I think we ought not to confuse, is the citizenship by investment money. And that's not money that's earned by St. Kitts. That's money that's earned by the Federation. That is national revenue that comes in from the negotiation of a national asset, which is our passport. And so I liken it to you and Azem owning something together, right? And deciding, let us use an example. Let's say you own a cow and you decide that you own it together, you bought it together, it belongs to both of you, but one of you goes out every morning and milks that cow and sells the milk. And then the money comes in and you says, well, no, I'm not going to share this money with you. And so that is really the issue that has arisen. So I want you to be very clear that we're not in Nevis talking anything about St. Kitts and its tax money. You know, whatever is raised at customs and all of that over there, we say more power to you. We're talking about this stream of income that has come from a particular non-tax source, which is the citizenship by investment. And we have said that the numbers are appalling, because the numbers suggest, and these are only what we were able to find, that in about a 12-year period, running from about 2008, that stream of income was about 5.3 billion EC dollars, from which Nevis got 400 million. So by any stretch of the imagination, 7% of that money flowing to Nevis, 93% of it flowing to St. Kitts, there's no justification for that. And it is not money that's earned in St. Kitts, because if there's a citizenship application that's processed from Four Seasons Resort, for example, processed from a development in Nevis, processed by a client in Nevis who comes to a lawyer in Nevis, it still all goes to St. Kitts, because St. Kitts is the repository, if you will. That is the headquarters. That is where this program is run from. But it would be a mistake to say that it is St. Kitts earning this money. Move that office to Charlestown, it would equally be a mistake to say that it is Nevis that is earning this money. The money is being earned, it's national revenue coming from the negotiation of our passport. And we have said that the people of Nevis are equal citizens in this country. Why, for example, should the people of St. Kitts have their fuel surcharge subsidized through CBI money, and those in Nevis have to pay their full fuel surcharge? Those are some of the questions that I think come down to a question of fairness. And that is why we need a government in Church Street that doesn't see St. Kitts or Nevis, but sees St. Kitts and Nevis a single country. The other issues about, for example, does St. Kitts deserve its own island government as Nevis does? Those are issues of constitutional reform. And certainly issues that are worthy to look at, in my view. Nearly 40 years after we've had this constitution, not a comma in it has ever been changed. So there is time, I think, to look at that afresh and to see whether or not we should have some constitutional reform to address some of those other issues. But I want just to be very clear that this is nothing about St. Kitts revenue, because CBI is not St. Kitts revenue. CBI is national revenue.
So what about the Charlestown Accord? We see that you guys were trying to use that to lay some ground rules for the team unity government, which is no longer here. Do you have any plans to speak to the Honorable Prime Minister about cementing some of those things that were outlined in that accord?
I absolutely do. A matter of fact, in my first letter to him, I have already laid out this whole issue of fair share, which was one of the building blocks of the Charlestown Accord. But going beyond the Charlestown Accord, it really is one of the building blocks for a future relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, I go back to the fuel surcharge, Jade. You currently live on St. Kitts and you're not paying a fuel surcharge. If you decide tomorrow, as a citizen of this country, you know what, let me move over to Nevis. I found a job over there or whatever. I got married and I'm going to go live in Nevis. You suddenly, by taking that 40-minute trip on the ferry or a 5-minute trip on the water taxi and relocating, you start to pay a fuel surcharge. At what point did you become less of a citizen because you decided to move to Nevis? And I think that many of us don't grapple with the reality of that. The reality of some of our people feeling left out of what is happening in our country. We go along and we say, oh, just St. Kitts and Nevis people making noise. But it's not that. It's saying, give us equal access and equal opportunity and allow our best minds to have the chance, allow all of our people to put our shoulders to the wheel of national development. We are so small as it is, the smallest country in the Caribbean, the smallest in the region. Can we afford to lock out 1/3 of our people from national development? I think the answer to that is no. I reflect all the time that it was only when I became foreign minister in 2015 that we started to have divisions playing roles as ambassadors in our diplomatic service. In 2015, our country had already been independent since 1989. So reflect that for almost 3 decades, we had not had a single person from Nevis in that role. Question is why? And when we raise these things, people say, oh, you're making noise about you're creating division. No, it is pointing out some very obvious things that the people of Nevis continue to say, we need equity. That is all we've asked for. And if we can achieve that, and if Dr. Drew can make a genuine effort to achieve that, I think he'll be the best prime minister we've ever had.
Totally understand.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mark, for joining us. The time is now 9 o'clock, so we have to wrap up this great conversation. But I'm sure you'll be back with us because you love us here at Island Tea. So thank you once again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing whatever happens in the local election, whenever that may be. I'm sure you will be back, and we will also have Dr. Janice Hodge to speak to us. Would you be open to having a conversation while she's on as well, so both of you will be on at the same time?
I'm always open to having a conversation with Dr. Hodge, is somebody I know well. I don't think that she's the right person for Nevis, but certainly that's a conversation that we can have, and certainly the people have already sent a message. So I am not so sure that Dr. Hodge is even going to be the leader of the NRP going into the next election. So we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Well, as once again, thank you. You do have a great day. I'm sure you have a busy day ahead.
Man, it's Friday, man. Let me know what you're saying.
He still has work.
Remember, him going to end up on somebody's step this afternoon. Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
And a living room or two. So that's right.
Exactly. Well, Premier,
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good. And thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you. And you're right. I'm a great fan. So I'm thankful that I get a chance to hang out with real celebrities. And so, I look forward to being back at some point and to engaging with you again. Thank you.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Cheers.
All right, guys. We're going to take a short break and be right back with more Island Tea right here on WINNMedia SKN. Stick and stay. We have lots of conversation to go. And we have a friend of the show in studio with us. So stick and stay to see exactly who we're going to be talking to right after the break.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
This is Chris Gale, the Universe Boss. Get ready for something new. The 60s T10 cricket tournament taking place in St. Kitts this year from the 24th to the 28th of August. Huge power hits and all the CPL teams taking part in exciting new innovation to the game. Come and see me and all the stars playing at Warner Park. For fixtures information and to buy tickets, visit 60cricket.com. Experience cricket power game at the 60.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Good morning, guys, and welcome back to WINNMedia SKN for more Island Tea. And guys, we are joined in studio by a friend of the show, Dominic, with a Q.
Feels like family.
Oh, but I think he might be a fave, you know. He might be a fave.
It feels like family.
Yeah.
Good morning, and how are you?
We are doing well.
Great.
And I'm hoping that you could say the same.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
We're gonna work on it though.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm grateful to be here to promote the offerings, but I'm okay.
Nice.
So we're gonna have an awesome chat.
Yeah,
We're gonna make it an awesome chat.
Well, let me tell you something. Every time you come here, you do just bring so much good news about what's happening there at TDC.
Right. Always a pleasure.
And I know today would be done different.
No, it won't. Actually, you started the ball rolling with the TDC Insurance Company radio jingle, and we're gonna start there since we get the ball rolling there. It is hurricane season, and at the TDC Insurance Company, we want to encourage our customers and clients to review their policy.
Oh.
Want you to review your policy in the event we're in hurricane season. Mm-hmm. In the event that there is some storm or hurricane, that you are familiar with what your property insurance policy says and what it actually is and what it means. So we're encouraging our customers and clients to review your policy. If you need guidance, if you need assistance, especially at this time, it's not too early, it's not too late, you're just around the right time to have your policy reviewed, you can call our offices in St. Kitts or in Nevis and speak to one of our agents, and they'll be more than happy to go through your policy with you in the event that we have some disaster that you couldn't prevent. We want to make sure that you know what your benefits are.
Well, of course, we wouldn't want to have to deal with that, but of course, you got to be on your P's and Q's. Don't want no surprises.
Well, speaking of surprises, I was going to come here today to surprise, but I'll save it.
What?
I was going to come in my school uniform because it's that time of the year. I'll surprise you guys eventually.
It's still this?
Yeah, I'll one. But I didn't decide on which school.
Oh,
So I didn't want to be either. Right. Well, in all fairness, I'll get a CFBC next time.
Well, generally, when in doubt, BHS. But go ahead.
I hear you. Blue and yellow, all the way.
All the way.
So, school, it's not school time yet, but it's back to school.
Mm-hmm.
And at our TDC Home and Building Depot and City Drugstore Nevis Limited, we've actually started with school coming, as they would say for us at City Drugstore Nevis. Right. And the Home and Building Depot. So we have our back to school special, and we're offering 20% off all back to school essentials. Also, we're also giving the customers a chance to get your items bundled. So we have bundles, packages together, backpacks, books, exercise books, rulers, erasers, the whole thing together. So if you don't want to buy them individually, you can get a bundle. And we have those bundles starting as low as $46.50. So you can get a bundle for as low as $46.50 and get right ahead of the grade. We also have printers in store. We have laptops in store. We have workstations in store. We have lamps in store.
Everything you need.
For back to school, we have it in store. The only thing we don't have are the teachers yet, but we're working on it. We're working on getting the teachers.
But you teach us every time you come here, Dominic.
Maybe I should change professions, but then I wouldn't come as often.
True.
And then, that can go.
Yeah,
so we do have those going at our stores. So for persons who want to get ahead of the grade, that's what we say in the office, ahead of the grade, now is the time to shop early. Avoid the rush. Now, coming up later this month, we will be having what we call Flash Sale Fridays. We will be slashing, we're going even further on the savings. We're giving you deeper discounts. We will be slashing prices on selected back-to-school items. As a matter of fact, speaking of slashing, the City Drugstore Nevis Limited has already slashed some of their prices. You can get backpacks with up to 40% off those items. Yeah, so we actually 40 up to 40%.
Wow.
So you can also start the savings there as well. We will be having some flash sale Fridays. Hopefully, maybe one of the Fridays when I return, it might be a flash sale, and I'll be able to tell the public exactly what the items are and the time and the super savings that they can benefit from. So we are having those. I'm encouraging persons to listen out for those. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram. You could also WhatsApp us from our WhatsApp numbers that we've listed before in previous discussions. You could also do that and ask us questions as to what's available, when is the flash sale, what other savings you could have. We want to connect with people, so that's another way for us to stay in touch with persons. Since we are back to school and we're at the Home and Building Depot, it's not so hot, but it is a bit cool at night, and we want persons to stay cooler. So we have our Cool Them Down sale. And yes, coolers are part of the sale. So coolers, refrigerators, freezers, all fans, ceiling fan, wall fan, solar powered fan, oscillating fan, desk fan, chargeable fans, rechargeable fans, USB fans. We have those as well. We all fancy up in the Home and Building Depot so that you could stay cooler, right? So we have those, and you save 20% on all of those items that I just mentioned, as well as pools and pool accessories.
Anything to keep you cool,
anything
20% off.
20% off at the Home and Building Depots in St. Kitts and Nevis.
That's a summer vibe,
Yeah, man.
Totally summer vibes. So for those parties that you're having and you need the coolers, now is the time. You're going to the beach, now is the time. All right, so we have those items at the Home and Building Depot for persons to keep cool. So if you have a business and you need a refrigerator or fridge, now are the savings. You have children and you need to take them to the pool or the beach, now are the time to get the savings as well. So all savings. If you're hot like some persons, you have savings, and you have a wide variety of fans to choose from, standing and so forth. All right, I see Jade fanning. No, Jade, I can't come over and fan you, but I can sell you a fan. Sell your fan so you could get the savings, right? I want to make sure that you get the savings and me selling you the fan. So we have that at our Home and Building Depots. Then it's hurricane season again. Remember, while you're at Home and Building Depot, it's a chance to pick up your hurricane supplies early We can't emphasize that anymore. We've seen some storms occur already across the region, so we want persons to make sure that they're hurricane ready. We have our hurricane displays, lamp oils, flashlights, taps. We have those in store for persons who want to make sure that they are prepared in the event that we get a storm in these parts, which I hope we don't. If you're looking for the financing to pay for these things, for back to school and your hurricane renovation and so repairs and so on and so on and so on, TDC Financial Services is the place to go, where you can get up to $40,000 unsecured. So if you're heading back to school, and you need some financing to carry you over, yes, you can. You're consolidating some of your debt, TDC Financial Services. That's the place to go. I mean, some persons haven't had a vacation. It's not too late to plan vacation. I mean,
You're talking about me?
I was talking about me, but if you want to go on my vacation with me, no problem. I'll be happy to have you on the vacation. So if you're looking at vacation time and you need funds, TDC Financial Services is giving you a chance to get up to $40,000 unsecured with a flexible interest rate and fast approval. And if you're wondering where they are, we're located in the Circus in Bastia and the Longstone building in Charlestown, Nevis. Let me see if I missed anything. Did I miss anything? Yes, you want to raise your standards?
Of course.
Now is the chance to test drive the Raise, which is our vehicle of the month at TDC Automotive Division.
Ooh.
Yeah, so raise your standards, and you can call our office at 465-2511 or 469-5430. Ask for the TDC Automotive Division. You speak to one of our agents there. You could book your test drive and raise the standard, raise the bar, raise the level up. Test drive our Raise today. It's a very good vehicle. I haven't had the chance to, so I'm encouraging you to do so. Until I do so for myself, I'm encouraging you to do that. Let me see if I missed anything on my list. It's quite a list. Now, we've moved this might make a year since we moved our copy and print center to the TDC Mall on 4th Street. Some persons might still not be aware that we've moved there, but we've moved there and we're still offering the same great service by our team of young professionals. So it's poster printing, photocopying, design. Yes, we do design and print there as well. We do scanning, we do laminating, we do binding. So for those persons who have an office or who will be moving into a new office, this is a chance to to visit TDC Copy and Print Center and see the services that we have there and take a full advantage of them. Our team of professionals are waiting to serve them. I can tell you that much. We are waiting to serve you. Let me stop and ask if you have any questions. I don't usually stop and ask, but I'd like to ask if you have any questions.
I just wonder how y'all has actually like even come up with all these things, because every time you come here, it's something new ways to save, new promotions. It's really seems as though there's a lot always happening at TDC.
Well, our office is basically what you call a think tank. We're always coming up with ideas. We're always coming up with suggestions. We're always looking at new ways to reach customers and clients. So for those persons who are trying to reach us and who may not know how to, you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram. You could follow us on Twitter. And here's something that we've been working on for quite a while that we just recently launched. It's not new, but it's our shop online platform, shoptdcgroup.com. So
Yes,
Jade,
I remember.
ding, 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 fan time. So yes, and the savings are online as well. So you can visit shoptdcgroup.com and you can actually purchase your items there. Now, while you're on shoptdcgroup.com, there's one or two features that we'd like to mention. You can actually purchase a gift certificate for Azem while you're online. You can also create your wish list and send your wish list to a friend like Dominic, a friend, a family member, or someone, and they could actually purchase the items for you online and bring it to the party when we're having the Cooler Fete number 3.
Oh, wow.
So you could actually purchase the cooler stuff online as well. The refrigerators are online as well. And you get the same savings as if you were in store. So yes,
nice.
Our online platform is another option for you to shop. So if you get up at 10 a.m. and it's still hot and you want a fan, you could purchase. If you get up at 10 p.m. and it's hot, you could actually purchase online by shoptdcgroup.com.
Curbside pickup still a thing?
Yes, we still have curbside pickup and in-store pickup as well.
Boom, bam.
As well as curbside delivery, we still have those as well. So it's an opportunity for persons to get what they need when they need from the TDC group of companies. And of course, if you are paying for insurance or your loan, you could also do so online as well. We've created opportunities for persons to do that at their own convenience.
And all of this happens at the Shop TDC.
Shop TDC Group, you could pay online as well, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Things we
yes,
love to
Yep,
see
yep,
and
yep.
hear.
I
So
think things will make me ain't got to walk.
I'd like for you to try the experience. And you also get your mega reward, TDC mega reward points as well when you shop online. So there are benefits to doing business with the TDC Group throughout the retail stores, throughout our financial departments as well. There are benefits. There are always benefits. Like I said before, it's a think tank in our office. It's almost like a small capsule where we're always bouncing ideas off each other and making sure that we continue to connect with customers and clients because we want them to have access to the goods and the services that we continue to provide. Week in, week out, day in, day out, month in, month out, year after year.
Well,
sure.
they can't ask for nothing better.
No, they can't.
Anything else would be.
Anything else would be
uncivilized of them,
would be additional. Anything else would be additional and most welcome.
Well, talking of additions, about any life, so TDC needs to give Dominic a raise. I don't know if they mean in salary or a vehicle.
Well, I'd like them to clarify, please. I'd be grateful if they could clarify. Because if you're gonna level up, you got to tell me exactly what I deserve. But I'd like to thank the person for that. Thank you very much.
Yes, and we would like to also thank you for joining us this
No problem.
morning
It's
and
always a
delivering
pleasure.
all these
Always a pleasure.
good discounts and deals and savings and all the things that TDC has
No
to
problem.
offer. It's always a pleasure when you join us.
I'll be sure to get my uniform next time so I don't shock you guys, okay?
We got you. We got you. Look forward to
Thanks for the heads up.
It has to be a CFBC, in all fairness.
Yes,
It
I
has
agree.
to be, in all fairness, with some accessories.
Yes.
But thanks again for the opportunity, guys, and remember to shop tdcgroup.com, or you could come in store and take advantage of the huge savings. These savings last all summer long until we say stop. So these savings last all summer long, so it's an opportunity for you to go back to school, keep cool, raise your standards, and shop with the TDC Group of companies.
For sure, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Guys, that was TDC, and of course, as always, so much good things happening at TDC. We'll make sure you check them out. Jade, I want a cooler, you know, I want one of them igloo cooler with a shower thing. You wanna? Okay, Jade, let's talk about that.
Why?
Let's talk about that. That has become a thing. I have recognized.
Because as him outside hot, outside is hot as him, and people don't like to be hot. So these handheld fans offer a sense of comfort.
Jade, that is not what I have been observing.
What have you been observing as him?
Tell me if there's not a correlation between who generally holds the handheld fans and the amount of makeup that they're wearing.
So?
No, you see, no, I'm just.
Nobody want a good makeup, fresh makeup run off as him. You know much for makeup? Do you know how much makeup costs as him?
Jade, thank you for confirming. That's all I want to do. I just want to make sure I know.
Yes.
I wasn't.
It's for us, the dollies, when we're
Because
outside partying, we have to keep the makeup fresh for the full 8 hours we're outside partying. Nothing is wrong with that. A matter of fact, that's what it should have used as their
the
pitch.
promotion.
Yeah.
The promotion. Keep your face
makeup
on.
Fresh.
Keep your face on.
Keep your face on this summer.
Keep your face on this summer.
While you're partying, take it to Nevis, yes.
Dominic taking notes, eh?
Listen, Dominic, hire me, hire me. TDC, hire me. I hire.
And there's a little think tank too.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I've been seeing it a lot lately. I remember one time I was talking to a friend of mine and he was just like, why all them, like, it was like a group. What do you call a group of girls? You know, like how you call it like a group of geese, a gaggle? Like, but there's a term for a group of girls?
Women?
But that's all women. Like if there's a group of girls over there, there's not a term for that.
No.
Like a school of fish. Like what you call little girls?
No.
No?
No.
I can find out. I can make it up.
Okay, do you think?
I can make it up.
Yeah.
A swoon.
Dominic, come go to the studio.
In here's a think tank, Jade. Let us think. Sometimes we might. You know what, Dominic, let them know. Sometimes we might not always get it right on the first try.
Not all the time. So if at first you don't succeed, try again.
Indeed.
TDC call you, before we get into this call.
Please, I have to go.
But as it is that time of the day, we have finished all of our interviews.
So it's
You don't listen me, bye.
You did the intro.
Go ahead, man. Yes. So let's start with an update from yesterday.
Oh boy.
Be it an unbelievable one, but
Boy, I tell
an
you.
update nonetheless.
I feel like I started the country on this dark path with the news yesterday.
You may have. I'm not gonna lie, you may have. You may have done that, but
Wow.
So you go sometimes, only in St. Christopher by. So yesterday, Azem told the nation that one of the 3 people that were pardoned was back in custody because of some crime or criminal activity, allegedly. And so we were able to confirm that. And so it says Kemba Swanston, one of the 3 recently pardoned, is back in police custody.
Wow.
Yay him. Sorry, I'm just adjusting to make sure that you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, there we go. That works.
So it says Kemba Swanston, one of the 3 men pardoned by the Governor General, Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton, on Thursday, August 4th, was reportedly arrested on the evening of August 10th.
Wait.
He pardoned on the 14th, lock up on the 10th.
Okay.
Record timing, boy. Just 6 days after he was free, boy, he didn't even make it a week. He didn't even make it the 7 days. He was so close. So close. Swanston was allegedly arrested for assault with a firearm. When received confirmation from Superintendent Cromwell Henry on the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force that Swanston is in custody. Swanston on August 10th, 2006, was convicted for the murder of Dennis Trotman and attempted murder of Davin Henry during an incident which occurred in Keys Village, St. Kitts on June 2nd, 2003. The incident involved 5 young men, and more on this as information becomes available.
So Jade, as this was confirmed yesterday,
Yeah.
it kind of sparked some thoughts.
Yeah. Sparked some thoughts in me too.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke a bit about it. I need to talk to this gentleman.
Yes.
I need to talk to this gentleman.
I think so too. He would make for a great interview as him.
And
Not on Island Tea, because they're going to bring him here, but.
Yeah, but okay. So whoever is the supervisor at the prison, have them give me a call. Y'all have my number.
Mm-hmm. And if y'all don't know it, just call me, because y'all know mine.
But I think, and I like to use these things as jump offs. Now, I don't know exactly what was going through this young man's head.
But we're going to speculate.
Well, no, I ain't even going to speculate. I'm just going to offer up some thoughts that hopefully, could spark some conversation.
All right.
One would have believed yesterday when we got the news, before we even got the news, while I was talking about the pardons and, just offering some, commentary on that. In part, I mentioned and said, hey, you know what? I would just love that these people recognize that, hey, this is a blessing. Mm-hmm. You've been given a gift.
A second chance.
And don't waste it. Use every waking moment as a way to positively contribute to society.
Mm.
No.
May think you get that message.
He may not have. But
Yeah,
I think by that time he was already in custody.
Yep.
I don't know if they listen to LNT in the prison.
Well, when you said this?
Yesterday morning.
Yeah, he was done lock up, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. I think when we start talking about the prison system, the prison in particular, there's so much variables and factors that play into person's experiences there. And one, that's one, and then two, the experiences when they get out. Right?
Yes.
Do you believe that there's a situation where someone who is sentenced for life in prison, in order to cope with that realization, shifts their mindset in a way where prison now becomes less of the time away from what we would call society and just becomes the society that they are part of?
Are you basically asking if they get comfortable in the prison?
I don't.
system?
Not even comfortable, because I don't even think people comfortable outside.
No facts.
But what I'm saying is just a realization that this is what it is, and so I adapt to the scenario that I'm placed in. Basically, adaptation. Do you believe that? And I don't believe that adaptation for life behind bars works well if one is to then get out.
Obviously not. Especially if the prison system isn't set up to prepare these people to leave prison.
Yeah, exactly.
You cannot lock away people for years upon end and then just release them into society and thinking that they will function and figure it out. Things change constantly day by day. The way we interact as humans, the way we function as a society changes constantly.
Technology.
Everything is changed. So if you have somebody that's in jail from since 2003 and you release them in if you release them in 2022, how do you expect these people to figure it out? Especially if they are not taught or trained or given the opportunity to adapt to certain things.
But that's the thing, Jade, and that's the point I was making to you yesterday. I was saying, and of course in this situation it may be, and that's why I started with the way I started, because I think that he would have had initially, I think he was sentenced to life.
Yes.
Initially, so in his case, he might not have even been considering ever seeing outside again.
I just want to know
in general, though.
Did he volunteer to be pardoned?
You don't volunteer to be pardoned.
So then who decided that this is who they're going to pardon without making sure this person is actually equipped to be pardoned?
Well, I mean, you have to understand, we are thinking from being outside. We outside. So we see prison as being a place where nobody wants to go. And so one would then extrapolate that nobody wants to stay there.
I understand
right.
not wanting to stay there, but you also have to make sure you prepare the people to live there.
Yeah, but I don't even know if that's an issue to do with pardoning, and that's the point. Because when you look at
what?
it, no,
You have to put all these things into consideration.
No, what I'm saying is, what happens at the prison itself, right? They have to take these things into consideration. You don't just go, well. For instance, let's say somebody walk out, well, we want to pardon XYZ, and then they go and say, well, by XYZ just been in here being treated inhumanely for the last 15 years. Probably leave him in there. No, but at the same time, what you're going to decide, you're going to let them out?
No, I'm not saying decide to not let them out. I'm saying prepare them to be let out.
That's the point.
Prepare them to be let out, whether it is that they're in jail for... What that tells me is that when people are put into prison, they're written off.
Yes.
Yes. Well, obviously.
Yes.
The life skills go out the door. There's no way for people to be,
reintegrated into society
but what is the purpose of prison if it isn't that? Because everybody not going to jail for life.
No, this and that is the thing. It is not about, the sad part is that it is not about rehabilitation.
Clearly.
Prison has become the place where we put societies unwanted and forget about them.
But you can't.
But you can't, because
they're coming back. They're not. Everybody in jail isn't going to be in jail for life. And clearly, even if you are sentenced to life imprisonment, there is a possibility that you can be released. So why are we not preparing people to be released? Why y'all not trying to make your jobs easier? If you have people in there that may have or will reoffend, try to curb this before they are let back out of prison. So then you as the police, you as the prison system, will not have to go back to this again.
Yeah, but you see, part of the issue is that, one, the culture of what prison is and why prisons exist. And it's the same thing, like I keep saying it's the same thing with schools. It's hard to change how schools operate, because what we're asking for is outside of what it was initially intended for. Same thing in prisons. We understand what we're asking now seems to make sense, but because of the nature of the institution, it seems like these kinds of changes are difficult to implement. And
Have they tried?
People have tried it, but you see what happened is, again, they're like, maybe not so much here in St. Kitts, but prison systems around the world, there's incentive to make sure people are in the prison system.
No, that's you.
Right?
There are people that,
There's people
because it's cheap labor for some people. The more people you put into prison, you get, the more money you get and stuff like that. We understand all of them things, but here we don't have a private prison.
No, but
yet.
what we do have is a society that does not believe in second chances, does not believe that person's debt to society is ever fully paid. Right? And so what happens is that even when people re-enter society, having paid their debt to society in the prison system, what society decided is the consequence for whatever action. So they say, well, your consequence for this particular action, we feel that 10 years is enough. You go, you spend your 10 years, you come out, society then still punish you when you come out.
True.
You understand? So,
however, before you are punished by society, I know that's that's one of the steps between this whole debacle. But at least before they get there, they should be, as from the prison side, somewhere to help their transition to be easier.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think we have to change our mindset.
I agree.
towards
I agree.
towards it. So then that is what would spark the kind of changes that you're talking about.
I don't know about that.
That's what it's gonna be. Because I'm gonna tell you something, and you've heard me go back and forth with people about this. I hate when you hear people start to say things like, oh, let's got him in there eating 3 square meals a day off of taxpayers' money.
So what you want them to do, starve? Y'all want the people them to be in there eating dirt and worms?
They want
they
literally wishing death on people. That's literally what it is,
Until they're in the same situation, because you only take one accident or one lack of thinking.
Jade, let me tell you something.
For y'all to end up in there,
Let me
I
tell you
think jailing for everybody, no?
No, you see, it's deeper than that, Jade. And people don't like to hear this, but what it is, that we have this thing where we believe within ourselves that we are incapable of what other people have done.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like, let me tell you something. We are all human. We are all created in God's image.
Indeed.
Right? You don't know this set of circumstances that may have contributed to the bad decisions, granted, that someone may have made. You don't know if you were put in similar situation that you would have made different decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So then to pretend as though you are somehow above the actions and thus above ever being in a situation to face the consequences that somebody else is facing is
ridiculous.
Is the height of hubris.
Not
right?
me, no.
So and you have to remain humble and aware. And then deal
I'm
and
pretty sure that I know that there may be a possibility.
And I'll go a little further. There's a lot of people running around out here who, had there been other set of circumstances,
They would have been there, man.
they would have been in there. I'm talking about they literally did something that you probably could spend some time for.
Yep. But by the luck.
Maybe because somebody decided to not press charges.
Yep. Yeah.
For all kind of different reasons. Nobody see.
But don't feel like y'all above this jail thing, man. It's for everybody. That's why they're building a new one, because they need space.
But my thing is, like you're saying, Jade, that we are going to have to seriously look at what it is happens.
But suppose the man didn't walk about it. Sorry.
But that's the point I'm making.
Didn't walk about it. So who asked it? Y'all asked the man if he walk about it.
But Jade, but you don't have to ask because because there's easy ways for him to get back in. You could go back in if you want. Nobody's stopping him from going back. Obviously.
But we don't want a situation where he traumatizes somebody before he goes in.
It's all trauma all around, Jade.
Yes, however, if we have the chance to stop this from happening, why not?
Okay. Well,
ask the man before. Somebody said yesterday that this is a clear case of what are you pardon me for? Who asks are you to pardon me?
I don't even know. I don't even know if it's rationalized that way. I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know. I don't know if.
I wonder on which day he realized by outing for me.
No, but no. Think about it, Jade. You're in a situation, right, where you don't believe that you will ever get out of this place,
And then
right? You get out, without warning, right? Unprepared for what is to come.
extremely unprepared.
It must have been a very
Serious culture shock.
culture shock and unsettling. Unsettling. And okay.
Well, it's alleged that he tried to go through somebody's window.
But firstly, before we even continue, right? Let me put this out there, because people just act like their head ain't good.
Regularly.
Nobody is in any way trying to excuse the behavior, the actions of the gentleman.
That's what they gain from this? That can't be what they gain from this.
Yeah, come on. They say every day we come in here and abuse the government.
Which government?
And then some people
Past
come in
or
here
future?
and then some people come in here and say
Or
that
present,
we never say nothing bad about the government. So yeah, it don't matter.
No, you have a point.
So what I'm saying is the system itself should be operating in a way where there is, as Jade said, a recognition that the people that we have, this isn't a final stop. This isn't final destination.
For a lot of people in prison.
And
Vast
so
majority.
and so we can't create a we shouldn't be creating a situation where the prison door
It's back. There we go.
Yeah,
You say you're not two people who are supposed to be in jail?
No.
Should be in jail forever?
Everyone I know, everyone in my circle are saints and have never done anything wrong.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
Now, what I'm saying is I know of two particular gentlemen who, at certain times of the year, you know where you're going to find them. You know where you're going to find them. They might just, go in your house, take out one or two things. But, I mean, the good thing is that when you ask them for it, they'll tell you where it is, eh? Like, they'll make sure they cover it down with a tarp and so. But, yeah, it's time for me to go back in.
Easier way is just go in front of the police station and cuss. They're going to put you in.
No, they ain't going to put you in. They ain't going to put you in. They ain't going to put you in jail. So easy. But, yeah, there's and so I think even that in itself speaks to as another need, and this goes down a different road. We have housing.
What?
We have housing here for I can't even deal yet. Let me prepare myself. But there's housing. There's housing for like battered women, women that struggle and stuff like. There's that for like men. You never thought about what you ever thought about?
I never thought about it, but I don't think there's.
But have you ever thought about it though? No. Because society don't really think about. If men go out, lose all their money, be homeless. If women go out and struggling, come to the shelter. So a lot of times there's people who, for whatever reason, maybe mental health issues, emotional trauma, shiftlessness. Right? And in these very difficult situations, maybe again had a run-in with the law, alienated by society, less opportunities. They go back to prison. They go back to prison. At least there. And it's not about getting 3 square meals, but it's about being. And if people trying to be somebody in society, remember the prison is its own society. Some people they enter into this society and able to make a way for themselves. Then you come out a place where you're somebody and come out and here is nobody.
Yep. Literally nobody. Bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. You have no respect. So you give up a situation where you had respect. Now you have no respect.
Mm-hmm.
You have a situation where you had a support system, right? We come outside in the support system.
Mm-hmm.
You might have even been in a situation where you were able to earn. It might be menial, but really and truly expenses aren't that high.
No, I mean, listen, and you get 3 square meals per day.
And you come out here and expenses high, and now you can't earn nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say we're just hoping that creating a situation
where people prefer to return.
That it is almost inevitable that you're a repeat offender.
Yeah.
You want to share with me what is going on in the world now? Because
Man, if it's true, so I was waiting for some confirmation on it, right? But I can read it. Megan
Okay.
call nobody name because Megan money. But hold you close. So it says, allegedly, a person whose name that I will not call was just arrested in Upper Keon this morning for impregnating a 15-year-old and is charged for beating the victim. It is known that the person only has intercourse with underage girls who are in school. A few reports were made at the station for the young man's aggressive behavior, but nothing was done. He then returned to the victim's house and tried to shock her to death while she is 5 months pregnant and with his child, and that he says it's another man's child. Note he calls himself a bad man, I guess, but everyone knows it's people like him. I won't continue that one. He threatened to kill the victim on Monday night and at her residence early Tuesday morning around 1 a.m. Again, I have not gotten confirmation on this story, but that is wild. That is something else.
one of these weeks I'm just coming here and just sing Kumbaya all day.
Dying I help, man.
Just sing Kumbaya all day. Like,
I
just to cope, Jade. It's a coping mechanism. Yeah.
I don't.
It's a coping mechanism. But
Are y'all okay?
I'm clearly
Are
not.
y'all
yeah.
okay in this country?
Clearly not.
Blink twice if y'all need help, because
Let me take off my shades.
what in the world is going on with St. Kitts and Nevis? Another person was charged with murder of their brother. Are y'all okay?
Let's get some feedback from the listeners. Good morning, caller. You're live on LNT. What's up?
Good morning. One of the arguments used quite often for why we should maintain the death penalty is that whereas everybody knows that everybody has the potential to kill, everybody does not go out and kill. And regardless of the circumstances, it might be better to not just incarcerate them, but to make sure that you take away the capacity of people who kill, take away their capacity to kill. And that's what the death penalty does. Okay? I remember speaking to a doctor one time who said, it may be
By killing.
a mental condition, a psychological condition, but as far as medicine is concerned, they can try all kinds of things, all kinds of psychoanalyses and all kinds of prescriptions that supposedly quells that desire or that ability to kill, but they don't work. That's what he said. Okay?
No, but
And so we're left with the decision as to whether it's better to safeguard the lives of even the prison guards inside the prison and other prisoners, or we take a risk with somebody who has done that act before and release them, or even keep them there in prison, give them life without parole or anything like that. Okay? And so those are the things I think that the decisions that I think have to be made, and what the considerations that we have to give when we're thinking more about rehabilitation as opposed to incarceration. Okay? Because yes, we should try to rehabilitate, but we should realize that we are in fact taking a risk. Okay? Because we can't get into the minds of those people, right? It's good to be humane and so on, but when we see the consequences of mistakes that we make, in trying to be humane and reintegrate offenders into society and all that, they're all well and good. But sometimes we have some bad consequences that result, and in the end, we have to determine whether the end justifies the means, or can we afford the price that we have to pay for the mistakes we make. Okay then.
Thank you. Understood. I mean, the truth is, though, when we start talking about the death penalty arguments, I think that's been argued deeply. The idea of taking away the ability to kill, personally, I think that's a weak argument.
And I don't think killing people is going to deter other people from doing crimes. It has not worked. We've had the death penalty before. We had crime.
No, but I don't think that's what he was suggesting. He's just suggesting that, hey, this person has demonstrated that they have the capacity to commit this act. Mm-hmm. It's obviously something that society does not want, and so in order to prevent this from happening again, let's take away the ability to do so by taking their life. No, I don't know if that's I think there are other ways, and I don't know if in any perhaps there's some exceptions, but generally you don't go and say, hey, we don't want you to do this, and so we will do it. I think that's how that's how generally. I'm sure if you think hard enough, you could come up with some exception.
Not murder.
Yeah.
I don't think.
For instance, but it only
murder them because they want to murder somebody else.
But they wouldn't call it murder. Let's say kill.
But it is murder. We're going to say what it is as it is not.
Murder has a very specific definition. That's what I'm saying. So it's killing.
Okay, so
for instance, like manslaughter is different to murder. Like
that's true.
Yeah,
but say we're going to kill somebody because we don't want them to kill somebody.
Yeah. And I think for instance, like in other societies, they may have exiled them to a certain colony and whatever,
exile good for the soul.
Different things. But
murder, no.
I think we have the type of technology at this point that would allow us to forego some of those.
Yeah,
those
I don't feel like we need to go
safeguard.
back to the barbaric times where we just was murdering people because not murder. Killing people because we don't.
But I don't need to go back. The death penalty still exists.
Yeah, but we don't do it. We don't use it anymore.
Well, I mean, you mean here in St. Kitts?
Yes, in here in St. Kitts. Okay. I'm specifically talking about kittitions and divisions. We don't kill them when they kill people or to prevent them from killing people. We don't.
Yeah, the truth is that.
That's when they used to hang people in the square, right? Yeah, we can't just really be doing that.
Hangman go spend a night in jail.
Yeah, he kind of close to us. And
and this came up again. This was in my mind a few weeks ago. Remember, a few weeks ago I was talking to you about the need for psychopaths.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
I'm saying society. Like society, for instance, you want the people, and I'm not calling the people who have done the psychopaths. But what I'm saying is, if there's a society where they determine, hey, we are going to take the life of people who take the life of others, right?
Was this like a voluntary job, or like did they raise their hand and say, me, I am willing to volunteer as Tribune to do this job? Or there was like, you got something about you that I feel like,
Jade,
would be good for this
I want
job.
to believe it might have been a bit of both. But what I'm saying is, you would want somebody who could go, do that, and then re-enter into society without having the PTSD that is associated generally with that type of act. Psychopaths.
Anyway, what a place called? Remember they said they had the mall at the airport? Remember specifically, one person came out and said there is no mold at the airport. Mm-hmm. You remember? Because I remember. Well, mold at RLB to be remedied shortly. General operations continue. Yeah, I know.
I ain't wearing my mask at the airport for COVID. I'm wearing it for the more.
You better mask up before them.
That's what the mask up thing and the sign mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me in COVID, man. Because remember the CDC said that things fine now. Yeah, could go
Hey,
back
those
to
of
your-
y'all who getting this late COVID, but congratulations, bye.
There's like COVID?
Jade, the COVID now ain't like the COVID when it start, Jade.
Oh. Okay.
Jade, the COVID now ain't like the COVID when it start.
Interesting. Well, sorry, but somebody's asking, would you consider inviting the chairman of the Mercy Committee on your program?
We're open
Of course.
We're open to talking to anybody.
Who that?
Eugene Hamilton. It would have been Eugene Hamilton.
Which Eugene Hamilton?
Let me meet Eugene Hamilton.
The former deputy prime minister?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sure. If we could find him.
He might be on a boat in Bobo or somewhere.
Some chilling. I thought
One of those
he's
above-
not on island. But,
Of one of those above water bungalows.
you know, living the good life. Know that he's out of office and don't have to deal with job stress. Might be on a little vacation.
So what going on up the airport for Trudeau?
Well, they're saying that 3 weeks ago on July 22nd, Win was made aware of a claim of a possible mold infestation at the RLB International Airport. In response, people took to social media and suggested that the issue of mold had been a months-long issue. It was later shared with the Bureau of Standards and Standards performed a visual assessment at the
What kind? What kind of assessment you
Sorry,
said?
the Bureau of Standards performed a visual
Okay.
assessment of the airport before any testing was carried out and was executed to determine the possibility of water damage or possible mold growth on the surface of walls and ceiling tiles. Samples were taken and sent off island to determine the levels of mold in various areas of the airport. According to the source, the level of mold infestation is measured by the number of spores per cubic meter and is separated into 3 levels. Less than 500 spores per cubic meter are considered satisfactory and no action is required.
More
Anything higher than 999 spores per cubic meter is considered highly elevated, and categorization requires immediate remediation for the health and safety of the occupants of any building where the count is that high. Sources told WIN that some of the areas of the airport fall into second category and would require cleaning, which is expected to start and be completed within the next 2 months. 2 weeks, sorry. The second category is from 500 to 999. The general operations of the airport continue, and staff and travelers are urged to wear masks while at the airport, as is already the protocol because of ongoing COVID-19 pandemic.
All right, so perhaps what this signals and should trigger is a realization that we need people who, especially in high traffic areas, are responsible for periodic checks of these types of things.
I think there's somebody for that, and I think that's the person that said there was no mold.
The person said I wasn't somebody at the airport?
That's my point. Or you mean somebody else besides somebody at the airport?
Yeah, like people.
Somebody completely
like,
separate to somebody from the airport?
I'm thinking somebody from the health department.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot
I'm
of
thinking
sense.
it's either somebody from the health department, or perhaps we need to expand the capabilities of places like public works.
Somebody said the airport looks nasty for a place that promotes tourism. I have not been to the airport in a while. Azem, you've been?
It does.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
No, it needs a facelift. Like the airport does need a facelift. The
facelift alone?
The angel, like even the angel wing.
What angel wing?
Well, that's what I'd call it. The overhang that is outside of the arrival and departure area. You know, the little metal thing.
You understand?
You want some loving.
Oh, Lord.
You want some loving. Like, you want some loving, Jade.
Well, a lot of people are arriving to the country and this is the first thing they're saying. Why?
Maintenance, as we say here all the time, maintenance is somewhere where the country really does need to improve.
I am so confused. Why do y'all keep building things and acting like they're going to take care of themselves? Like they're gonna dust themselves, wipe down themselves,
Because
demold.
because you can't go on the platform and campaign on maintenance. You go on the platform and maintain about implementation and building.
Yes, but if you are the government that's trying to stay in government, I feel like maintenance is a big thing.
No, you just build other new things.
To then not maintain them?
That's the point I'm making.
What?
That is exactly the point I'm making, Jade.
Y'all just confuse me in this country, you know.
Are you not entertained?
Generally, y'all just confuse me.
No, but seriously, and like, hey, if nobody say it yet, because I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised, that we are getting these types of reports now, and action, because somebody needs to explain to me why this ain't happening at the hospital yet.
Oh.
Jade, mold in hospital, Jade.
Mold was bacteria. All kind of things in the hospital.
Mold in the hospital, Jade. Mold in the hospital. I'm waiting for the exam. I'm pleasantly surprised that it happened after the reports at the airport. I was I'm happy that this is what happened.
And then
right?
if we went to have the hospital leak, the hospital.
Jade, we know people that have had to get a transfer out of health for health reasons because they were working at the airport, at the hospital. Sorry, they're working at the hospital.
Y'all have no shame.
And they had to get a transfer.
No shame.
They had to get a transfer out of people. Like I don't like people hear what I say. The doctor say, hey.
For health reasons, you should not work
at the hospital.
I'll fix it, please.
The more messing with your thing and like. Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to put my full entire faith in this new government, and say that I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty hopeful that some of these issues will be addressed in a timely manner. Please. I am literally begging. Remove the junkyard from the front of the hospital where all the dead equipment go to bury. That makes no sense. Deal with the rust and mold and faulty equipment at the hospital.
And the airport.
And the airport. I know the airport is important, but the hospital, I feel like should take first preference.
Things will need to be done.
Because if you're sick at the airport is at the hospital you're going, but if you're sick at the hospital, where you're going?
To the airport.
To fly out.
To fly out. That's exactly what happened, Jade.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened.
Yep. No, you're right.
You go to the airport.
To fly out. How about we don't have that anymore, and we actually fix the things that need fixing. So again, I am putting my faith. Don't know where I say them calls. I'm putting my faith. It's 10 o'clock in the administration that we just put into office, that they will deal with the things that they need to deal with, i.e. the airport, because it is of vital importance. Morning, Sandra. Don't come here and shout after me, you know. Don't start me up. Remember your government in power, you know. We keeping the mic warm for you, man. No worry. Yeah, man. Come in here with your confusionness. You know where she come last week?
No.
She up the park. As I bust the corner, who up there, Sandra?
Doing her exercising her franchise.
Anyway, let me come up before she come over here for me. Me able.
Guys, it's been a wonderful week. Really enjoyed the conversation today. Thanks to everybody who would have participated, whether by calling in, whether by being on the live, and just listening, whether it is on YouTube, Facebook, one of the other digital media platforms, or on the radio at 98.9 FM.
Indeed.
All of you are appreciated. To all the first-time listeners, come back next week. If this was your last time listening to the show, you ain't like us, thank you very much. We appreciate it as well.
Sandra says she. Actually, I listen to us all the time, but don't study here, you know. You don't study. Anyway, guys, stick and stay, because right after Island Tea, we have Your View with Miss Sandra Atherton Queely. Sorry, my bad. Queely Atherton.
Yes, indeed.
Because she wants the most last name. stick and stay for that. And right after that, we have Voices. And for the afternoon, it's pure music, pure vibes. So stick and stay to Win FM. Azem will be off island next week, but he is still trying and locking with us as much as possible. Might have to bring in some backup. Sandra, welcome. Co-host with me. Come co-host with me. I have no problem with you coming to co. I mean it, you know. You mean it, sir? Okay, Sandra will be my guest host along with whenever Azem decides to join us next week. But guys, it's been a pleasure as him take us out so Sandra could come disrupt the airways as usual.
Well, guys, it is the weekend. I just want to wish everybody a safe, restful, peaceful weekend. Look out for your fellow man. Deal with people with love and respect and empathy.
And grace.
Please. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Guys, please remember, learn from the losses of others. We have a lot of examples.
Lots of examples. Before you continue, I really the guy label lipstick. What is? Your lipstick look a little red, you know.
It's your orange, right? I'm looking for something yellow to mix it with.
Oh, okay.
Wow. But guys, it's been real. Of course, guys, please remember to spend more time living your content, experience the world, and just posting it. All right? Some are going to the show them and all I do is look through the show at you through your phone. I don't understand. But hey,
I first understand.
Yeah, I first understand. And please remember, you can't be everybody's cup of tea, guys, because you is not a mug. See you guys next week. At least Jade will.